I have just woken up from a one-off night shift, which is very unusual for me. I usually do at least 3, but usually 4 to be honest. But yeah, just a one-off night shift this week. I have a GP appointment, so I'm just about to head to that, but I slept. When I got to sleep, I slept great, but I didn't get to sleep till about 10:30, and then the GP called at about 2:30 with an appointment time. So I've had like 4 hours of sleep. I think tonight is definitely going to be an early one. So I have just got back from my GP appointment, and I don't know whether I'm going to put this in my weekly vlog or make a separate video, but I guess I'll decide that, and when you see it, it'll already be decided. But I had an appointment today. I've been really poorly for about 3 weeks with chest infection, cold, flu, and that was about a month ago now. When I was really poorly, I noticed some lumps under my left like armpit area, which I put down to lymph nodes just because I was quite unwell. And unfortunately, a couple of them have remained, and I've now been quite well and feeling fine for the last over a week. I then was at work on Thursday, and when I was working on a computer, I noticed a lump on my forearm, which I've been monitoring since then. So it's been 5 days, and it's almost doubled in size, and it's now quite painful every time I put pressure on it or knock it, especially when I'm like resting on a table. It sort of sends shooting pains down to the bone. And then because I've been monitoring that, I've been monitoring everything else for lumps and bumps. And on my left breast, there's also a small lump just on the side, which I do check my breast regularly. I'm signed up for CopperFuel like notifications, so I get a monthly text reminder to check your breasts, which I would strongly recommend to anyone. But yeah, so I found a very small lump on the side of my breast. So I thought it was important to get them all checked out. I also found like what I was calling a skin tag on sort of the side of my labia. So I had a few problems that I was going to them with, and I was very impressed. So after my night shift, I called at the GP, made an appointment, and they called me back the same day for an appointment, which was good. So in regards to the query skin tag on my labia, they have decided that that is a cyst and they're not going to do anything with it, which is fine. It just doesn't look and feel great, but it doesn't hurt, it doesn't cause me problems, so that's fine for now. The lump on my forearm they think is a cyst, but because they can't be sure, they've booked me for an ultrasound scan in the community to check the blood supply, and then an x-ray in the hospital to see if it goes down to the bone, which is obviously reassuring that they're covering all bases. But that is kind of my worry, and that's what I'm most worried about. And then in regards to my lumps on my sort of left breast area, she thinks the one in the breast is probably a cyst because it's quite small, and she thinks the ones under my armpit are probably still lymph nodes. But because there's multiple lumps and they're on the same side, she sent a referral to the breast clinic. So I'm going to have all those, the breast clinic, the x-ray and the ultrasound scan within 2 to 3 weeks, she said. The breast clinic, she's not sure what they'll do, whether it'll be just an ultrasound scan, a mammogram, or I can't remember if she said x-ray or MRI, but she said they would make that decision when they saw and felt them all. So I guess that's sort of a little medical update, and I will update when I next know. I don't really know how I'm meant to feel. I'm not super worried because I feel like I check myself regularly and I would pick up on it relatively early, I would hope. The main thing I'm worried about is my forearm because that one hurts, but she seemed the least worried about that. So we'll see how it goes, and yeah, I'll update you when I know. So today I'm at the hospital. I have an x-ray in about half an hour, and then I have another appointment for an ultrasound scan, but in the community an hour after that. Both of which are for my lump in my arm. My dad is pretty confident it's just like a deposit, it's not like bone cancer, which was obviously my worry. So we'll see how it goes. I did give myself half an hour to find a parking space, and it's taken 7 minutes, which isn't too bad going, I don't think. So I've had my x-ray, which was a very long wait. My appointment was an hour before I actually got in. Afterwards, pardon me, afterwards she looked at the referral and said that it needed to be reviewed before I left. So she went to speak to one of the doctors, and then she came to me and said they don't have time, so to go to my ultrasound scan, otherwise I'm going to miss the next appointment. So a little bit frustrating. I can't tell if that's a good thing, a bad thing, or just like they're running late, it's a busy thing. But she said that I'll be let know by my GP, so we'll see what they say. So my ultrasound scan has been done, and it has dropped in temperature since I've been inside. It's raining, it's cold, it's miserable, but hey ho. The scan was really quick. I was seen bang on my appointment time. I'm out in 6 minutes and really smooth. Weirdly, it's in a GP practice, but it's like a private service, so it's an interesting one. I am absolutely shattered. I have just woken up post 4 night shifts on 4 hours of sleep. I have a hospital appointment today for the breast clinic for the lump that I found. I'm feeling okay. I'm just absolutely shattered. When I made this appointment, it was the first one available that wasn't between night shifts. And in my head, I thought, I normally get up by 2, so it'll be fine, but I've realised that was a mistake, because it actually meant I had to get up at 1 o'clock, and I've had 4 hours of sleep, so wish me luck. I'm just at the dining room table. I don't often, if ever, vlog here. I don't often sit here unless I've got people with me, but I realised I never really gave an update on the whole doctor hospital experience. But I had my breast examination. They were done by 2 different people, and then I had an ultrasound scan, both of like the whole of the side of the breast and under the arm. They think that it's normal breast tissue. There's this very small cyst, but it's too small to drain, and I can't feel it anymore. And then under the armpit is 2 lymph nodes, which they say do look swollen, but I haven't been poorly since like end of August, beginning of September. So that's unusual, but then they're not concerned at all with anything, so they've discharged me. And then the next day I ended up having a GP appointment. When I had my ultrasound scan of my arm, they said everything was fine. But when I got a text message from the GP saying they wanted a face-to-face consultation, and I didn't really know why, and I thought maybe it was just to go over results, which it kind of was, but they also wanted to do a face-to-face consultation. So I went. The x-ray results aren't back yet, even though it was done the same day as the ultrasound scan. And I don't really understand, because they were originally wanting me to stay until the doctor reviewed my results, but when they heard that I had another appointment for the ultrasound scan quite quickly, they said that the doctor wouldn't be able to see me that quickly. But I thought the results would be still reported that day, but they're not. So it's now been like 3 weeks and they're still not reported, which is a little strange to me. I've looked on my NHS app and they said that they've got until the 3rd of December, which is 2 weeks away. So I'm hoping I'll get the results from that. But anyway, in fairness, I don't really need the x-ray results. So the ultrasound scan report of my arm verbally told me everything was fine. However, on the report, which I asked for a printout, I'll read it. It says, on palpation, there's a soft mobile lesion in the superficial soft tissues of the right forearm. The patient reports no previous diagnosis of malignancy. On ultrasound examination, there is an ill-defined hyperechoic lesion within the subcutaneous region of the ulnar aspect of the right forearm, measuring and blah, blah, blah. An oval lymph node with a preserved fatty hilum and thin cortex is visualised adjacent to the lesion. The lesion is equivocal on ultrasound imaging, and a referral for MRI imaging is advised. High priority report for timely review. So basically, they now want me to have an MRI scan, which I don't know how I feel about. Like, I will be fine, but I feel like 3 people have told me it's normal, and now they're wanting to refer me for like the most detailed imaging going. So not sure what to expect. Never had an MRI before, never even seen anyone have an MRI before. They have said it will just be like the top half of my body. But then at the same time, I'm like, will they just do everything, or will they just be looking at the arm? But apparently they have to image the whole body. So I'll keep you updated and see what the next steps are and how the MRI goes. One problem dealt with, the other problem still being dealt with. which makes me very sad. And recently I've been really worrying about my health, and I think that's related to like the health scares that I've had recently. But just being a single mum and having kids rely on me and not have anyone to fall back on if anything went wrong, yeah, it just makes me sad. I am currently between night shifts and I am very much trying to stay awake. I finished a little bit late, but today I have a telephone appointment. I did ring them to say that I was in between night shifts, so if possible to do it like at the end of their clinic, which was 3 o'clock, but actually because it's nearly 9 o'clock, I've just rung them again to say, actually, can I be the first one? And that way I can sleep and I don't have to set an alarm and worry about like sleeping through it and whatnot. So they said that they're going to try and fit me in first thing, which is 9:30. So I've got about 45 minutes to kill. I'm going to have something to eat and watch some TV and stay down here because I know the second I lie down in bed, I'm going to fall asleep. Right, I am heading to bed. That appointment telephone call was, I'm not really sure. They basically said, so first of all, when I went to my ultrasound scan, he told me, the person doing the scanning said, everything's fine, it looks fine. So then when I got the appointment with the GP that said it was like an urgent appointment, I was quite shocked and surprised, especially when they needed an MRI. So I was then expecting just to get a letter in the post for an MRI appointment. But I got a letter saying I had a sarcoma team appointment, which was obviously quite a bit of a shock to me because A, I'd been told everything was normal, and B, no one had mentioned the word sarcoma, cancer or anything like that, other than me very, like right at the start, I think. But so yeah, so to be referred to the sarcoma team was a little bit of a shock, but she was really nice on the phone, basically went through everything. She doesn't think that an MRI will give any further information just because the size of the lump at the ultrasound scan was quite small on the measurements. So she doesn't think it's big enough for the MRI to give any further details. So what she's going to do instead, she thinks it's better just to remove it and cut it out. She doesn't know whether it will be under general anaesthetic or local anaesthetic. So she's going to refer me to the plastic surgery team and they'll do a face-to-face consultation to assess it and then make the decision on whether it's under local or general, basically, and then book in the surgery. So it sounds like I'm just going to get it removed, which is probably a good thing just because then we'll know what it is, and then we'll go from there. I am actually at the hospital for another appointment for myself today and I'm not feeling very well. I'm still kind of full of cold, but my main thing is that I've got a banging headache, which I'm pretty sure is turning into a migraine. I was trying to avoid paracetamol, but I'm now definitely regretting it because I can feel my eyes going, but I'm hoping this appointment won't take too long. I've managed to come into the staff car park, so it doesn't cost me anything extra from what I normally pay, which is good, just because it's sort of like a late afternoon slot. And I don't really know what to expect. On the phone, they said it would be with the plastic surgeon to decide A, whether I needed an MRI or if they could just do the surgery. And if it was just to do the surgery, whether it would be under local anaesthetic or general anaesthetic. So I'll kind of see what they say and where we go from here. I completely forgot to pick up my camera, but that appointment went very long. It was over an hour late in the end, and it was only about a 15-minute appointment. I think the doctor that I spoke to was pretty sensible. She agreed with the other sarcoma doctor that they didn't think the MRI would pick up anything else at the moment because it was quite a small lesion. But she also didn't want to rush into the surgery because of my symptoms and what she could see. She couldn't tell if it was a nerve lesion, which is what she's thinking it might be. And then if she did do the surgery to remove it, there's a chance like it could affect the nerves to my hand, which obviously isn't ideal. So the plan is to have another ultrasound scan in February, which will be 3 months since the last ultrasound scan. If it's got any bigger, we'll do an MRI. If it hasn't, we'll just do a follow-up plan, potentially every 6 months or every year. And then if it has got bigger, we'll do the MRI, see where it is, and then remove it, depending on where it is. So not really any more answers, but I guess it's nice to like talk through possible options going forward. I think I'm actually going to end this video here. I've recorded lots of clips over the last 3 months, and as it might be like a long-term ongoing thing, I'm going to end it here and just put the rest of the clips into the normal sort of weekly vlogs and go from there. But all being well, none of them are sinister, and yeah, hopefully we get some answers over the course of 2026. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will speak to you next time.